We're looking at Merton's strain theory of deviance, and Merton says that deviance is an inherent part of any functioning society. We have to keep in mind that from the functionalist perspective, if something functions, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's always quote unquote good or moral, but does it serve a function for the society? Does it serve an end? And if it functions, it will persist. Merton developed 5 categorizations to explain how people function within the society. These categorizations were based on issues of goals and issues of means. Goals in a typical American society would be the quote-unquote American dream. Oftentimes, these goals have to do with material possessions, wealth accumulation, but they also may be existential goals. So these existential goals may not only have to do with material possessions, wealth accumulation, or status, but they may also have to do with other types of existential senses of accomplishment or well-being. When we're examining means, typically we're talking about whether or not the means are legitimate or illegitimate. Legitimate means for achieving within the society often have to do with starting a business, becoming an entrepreneur. One of the more common ones in our current society, of course, would be to get degrees, accreditation. Conformity is when one has the goals that have been laid out. They have the blueprint or the map for how to go about achieving them. They have those means. So someone has the goals in mind that have already been suggested to them from the society, and they have legitimate means to achieve them. This is conformity. Innovation occurs when a person does not have legitimate means to attain the goals that have been put out in the society as being status, as being wealth, as being success. The person or people still want to achieve these goals or want to acquire the wealth or the possessions or the status, but do not have a legitimate means to do so. Therefore, they may take illegitimate means. This might be something like organized crime or things of this nature. Merton calls this quote unquote innovation, although innovation often does have to do with criminality. Ritualism, like it sounds, going through the ritual, going through the motions, is when the person does in fact have legitimate means and does have a blueprint for how they should be interacting within the society. However, they no longer have belief in or faith in or desire for the goals. This sometimes does fall into the category of someone having some type of crisis of existence, existential crisis. This can also be a person having an epiphany regarding what they find to truly be important for them within their life. We can also look at this from the perspective of breakdown, breakthrough. Granted, the person has in fact found some way to find meaning within their life. Until that point, the person is still going through the ritualistic act of going through the motions of what they are supposed to do, but not really knowing why, and not having a deep feeling or sensing a deep meaning for these activities. It's essentially the hamster on the wheel. Retreatism is when the person has given up on the goals and the means, or perhaps they have been forced into a situation in which the goals and means have been blocked, but they have chosen not to find another way, or they have not decided to innovate. Usually this is coupled with depression. Oftentimes this is coupled with substance abuse, alcoholism, where the person is simply retreating from the society. We've seen many historical examples of retreatism as a result of social collapse, and this is where we can bring in Durkheim's concept of anomie, because anomie is a marginalization, a shift within the society and a shift within the person based on a large-scale social collapse or a large-scale social disruption, perhaps even what we might call a social shock. Rebellion is the category where the traditional goals and the traditional means of achievement are not in place. However, the people involved in the rebellion or the counterculture, for instance, have substituted their own belief systems, their own goals, as well as their own means of achievement. So while the larger goal that is presented within the society of what achievement and success looks like is not truly believed in, and it is also not the blueprint or the map that people are using, they have in fact chosen something else, a new value system, a new means and understanding of what success is for them. This is what would be categorized by Merton as rebellion. Rebellion, by Merton's definition, does not necessarily imply anything political in nature per se. So a rebellion could simply be isolating with a group of like-minded people, having different goals, having different means to achieve those goals without ever taking any direct political action. A question could arise, is a rebellion or the category of rebelliousness actually true rebelliousness or true counterculture if people are participating within the larger society or still buying in? We see some examples of people who have historically not participated within the larger society, and typically these are communities which are isolated. For instance, the Amish. So by one understanding of this definition of rebellion, groups would have to be self-sufficient. Others may argue that the rebellion is actually intended for the larger society to replace societal goals as well as means, and that this is not simply a small-scale issue.